All right. Welcome back and good morning. Good Friday morning to everyone or anyone in my time zone. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone else. I have a subject that I want to deal with. It made me happy, and I'm always on the lookout for a story that is positive because I just feel like it has a negative effect on my mind to constantly focus on and deal with these horrible stories. These stories are terrifying, and it's like a twilight zone. And I think it'll do us well to celebrate our victories. We do get victories. We should most definitely acknowledge them. Feel free to share any positive news that you may have as well. And I want people out there to appreciate this life. This is something that you don't see with dog lovers, especially owners of vicious breeds. Appreciate this small life. We're only here for a very short period of time. Now, we may have had several lives or lived several lives before our current life. The thing is, we don't remember it. Right now, this is the only life we know of. We don't remember waiting to be born. And there was a lot of time that passed before we were born. If we don't learn nothing else from life, is that you need to appreciate this brief journey. And shout out to everybody in the chat room. I see Joseph Aldrich in the house, Stars Grill, Nikki. Big shout out to everybody. Equator. And Ashar. Shout out to Ashar putting in work already. Much appreciated. Yes, take care of yourself, people. Don't ever let yourself go. Don't ever give up on yourself. If you're unhealthy and you know that you need to change your diet, go ahead and do it. You're only here for a very short period of time. Let's honor our life. So this story surfaced yesterday, and I'm still happy. No dogs allowed. Federal court rejects service dog accommodation in hospital setting. People, I feel like this is a major victory because you can then challenge these other hospitals that have put a stamp of approval of dogs coming into hospitals. Finally, we had a judge who said, wait a minute, we can't do this. We cannot allow this. And the question is the dog a direct threat to the health of the patients? Yes or no? And this judge had to tell the truth. I hope this is the start of a pattern because, as we all know, there are dogs in several hospitals around this country on a daily basis, and there should never be any dogs in these hospitals at all. You're talking about hospital, you need to have some type of high-tech machinery or gadget that can serve people, something to replace a mutt. These dumb creatures can easily be replaced. Get creative. Use your imagination. Nobody's going to tell me that a dumb mutt is the one and only savior or thing that can help someone who needs help. If nothing else, have people to help other people. All right. Now, this woman was a nursing student. A nursing student. She was an intern assigned to do her clinical work at this medical center in Michigan. And as an intern, she followed doctors and nurses making their rounds of patients' rooms, particularly on floors 70 and 90 of the hospital. Now, this woman who had this service dog allegedly suffered from generalized anxiety disorder. People, and we all know that this is baloney. All the videos we've seen of these people with service dogs who claim to have some type of anxiety disorder. Oh, I'm going to panic. Oh, I feel lightheaded. Oh, I'm scratching myself. I need a dog to stop me from scalping myself and scratching my skin off. This is all a con. It's all a con in my book. She allegedly suffered from generalized anxiety disorder with a history of panic attacks, which could last for over an hour and could come on quickly with little to no warning. And this is supposed to be a nurse. She needs to be a patient. What it sound like? She requested that her service dog be allowed to accompany her on her nursing rotations to assist in case she had a panic attack. Oh man, you're an intern and you want a service dog to, in this, they're going from room to room, patient to patient. We have been talking about this for a long time, that is such a violation and it's unhealthy. It should be against the law. And these people bring dogs into hospitals without the permission of the patients. Unbelievable. And it shouldn't be on the patients. It should be on the educated class, the doctors in there who know how filthy and nasty these things are. And instead, it took a judge to put his foot down, when the doctors who worked at those hospitals should have been the ones who said, get that dog out of this hospital and don't bring no dogs in this hospital. Are you out of your mind? And maybe, swatted them across the chin in the process for doing something that stupid. For you to even recommend that idea of bringing dogs into the hospital, sit down. So, she requested that this mutt follows her in case she has a panic attack. Now, she personally trained this dog to detect anxious behaviors. Now, people, I just shared a video of someone doing this exact same thing. Oh, now I'm scratching my arm, so I'm going to train my dog to stop me from scratching my arm. Oh, I'm scratching my head. You remember that lady was scratching her scalp. I'm going to scalp myself. Let me train my dog to stop me. We've all laughed at that. It is nothing but rubbish. These are just dog lovers. So she trained this dog to detect anxious behaviors and signal her to take her medication to stop a panic attack before she could recognize it. Okay? Now, shortly before her rotation began, she sent a request for the dog to accompany her, and they granted it. At first, they granted it. But then the patient started having allergic reactions on the very first day. People, I personally believe this is pivotal. This is a very important article, because if it applies to this hospital, it should apply to every hospital in the country. And nobody should be allowed to bring these worthless mutts in, especially emotional support dogs, which is what these dogs are, these therapy dogs. Okay, understand, people, this judge rejected a service dog. So you know he'd reject a therapy mutt. Those dogs that they bring in these schools, in these hospitals, they don't perform any type of service. They're not service dogs at all. This is a therapy dog program. These people should be getting the boot all across the country. Even if you were to just base it on this one story or this one case. Oh, we're coming. We are coming, nutters. I told you, y'all on the clock, because this is so absurd. This culture of yours is extremely ridiculous, and you are violating people in several ways. Extremely inconsiderate lifestyle. And the judge struck back. Okay. So, where are we at? Right here. On our first day of rounds, employees and patients had allergic reactions to the dog's presence. Of course. What are you thinking? What'd you expect? And I highly doubt that they made it mandatory that this mutt is washed with a special shampoo and wiped down with sanitizer wipes every 5 to 10 minutes, as was suggested by some other therapy group in the hospital. That was in a hospital as well. That's why they clarified it. Well, some people bring in dogs without washing their mutts at all. They're just bringing their own nasty mutt that lives in the basement, putting a fake vest on them and bringing them into hospitals. This is embarrassing. Okay, had allergic reactions to the dog's presence. The HR department then reevaluated the accommodation, talked several times with Bennett, and ultimately determined that it could not allow, let's highlight that, could not allow the dog on the floors where her training rounds took place. She offered an alternative. Oh, please, she said, I'll put it in a crate and leave it on a different floor. Okay, crate it on a different floor during patient rounds and allow for necessary breaks, concluding that they remain. And what's the point? You want to put it in a crate and leave it on the floor somewhere. What's the point in having it there? Why don't you just leave it at home? You can't be bringing the dog room to room in no hospital. Shouldn't be in the hospital at all, even if mutt is not in a room. Do y'all know, according to this article, people were having allergic reactions to the dog before the dog even entered into their room. Just the mutt being in the hallway triggered an allergic reaction. And don't believe that that is a lie or unreasonable, because these things are very effective and efficient at contaminating the atmosphere. Their dander is both visible and microscopic, and it's so contaminating to the air itself that it's in the air outside. So contaminating, dog owners contaminate the air and atmosphere at their job even after they leave their dog at home. I've shared that information several times on this channel, and this article confirmed it. Okay, could not allow the dog on the floors where rounds took place. She offered an alternative accommodation to crate the dog on a different floor during patient care time frames and allow for necessary breaks, concluding that they remain open to continued dialogue on this matter. Talked about alternatives, including moving nurses with allergies, which was not an option. Oh, you want to move the nurses? Listen to that. Why should the nurses have to be moved? Just so your dog can come through. I'm glad the judge struck this down. Wow. So she went with the option of crating this dog on a different floor and offered extra tutoring to Bennett for any rounds that she missed because of breaks spent. You want to take breaks and go see your dog? I thought this dog was a service dog that's supposed to help you to not have a panic attack. You saying the dog is still effective even though it's in a crate on a different floor? Oh, I just take my break, I go visit it. Get out of here. That is a con. Okay, where are we at? Later contended that tutoring could not replicate the patient experience and did her rotation without the mutt. She then filed suit. We all knew that was coming. Okay, under Title II of the ADA, contending she was denied the benefits of service of a public entity. Get out of here, you goofball nutter. You goofball nutter. Of course you did that. Of course. Oh, I was denied benefits of service of a public entity, was subjected to discrimination, and was otherwise limited in the enjoyment of rights and privileges enjoyed by others. She also brought a claim under Michigan's Persons with Disabilities Act. After discovery concluded, Hurley filed for summary judgment. Pathetic. Pathetic. Now look at this. Under court's ruling, Hurley made multiple arguments for a summary judgment, but the district judge focused on only one. Here it is right here. Drum roll. Let's get a drum roll right here. So this is the only thing that the judge focused on. Was the dog a direct threat to the health and safety of others? Proving a direct threat is a heavy burden and must be based on actual risks, not on mere speculation, stereotypes, or generalizations about individuals with disabilities. In the court's eyes, the dog met this standard. Excuse me. Hurley met the standard. That's the owner. Oh, I was delighted. And when I read that, I felt good. Of course. And it's sad that you got to celebrate when people exercise common sense. This is common sense. Of course. How nasty these things are. Now look at this. They went back over what happened. Now this is under the court's ruling. Said first, Hurley let Bennett bring the dog and it didn't go well. The dog's presence actually caused allergic reactions from staff and patients. One staff member's allergic reaction was so strong that she had to seek medical care and was out for 2 days. Listen to how filthy and nasty these things are. And this was a service dog that got rejected by a judge. If it's good for this judge in this hospital, it need to be good for all the hospitals in this country. Not only that, classrooms, schools, and everything else. Because just like people have allergic reactions in hospitals, they can have them in schools or anywhere else. Listen to this. One patient began having an allergic reaction, and the dog was never even in the room. Can't make this up. I'm about to share a link to this right now. How y'all doing this morning? Hope y'all doing well. Man, I have so much fun doing these live streams, sharing this information. Y'all have no idea. I'm going to go ahead and pin that to the top as well. Oh boy. That's so nice. Shout out to Lala in the building. Gene, I see y'all. My man Champagne in the house. Dave C in the house. Oh, that's so nice, man. I'm sorry, I just have to soak that in. I have to let that sink in. Allergic reaction so strong, she had to seek medical care and was out for 2 days. Another patient had allergic reactions and the dog was never even in the room. Patients on one of the floors were immunocompromised and particularly in need of protection. Of course, they're in a hospital. Like, how on earth did this become a trend? And it's a trend in hospitals all across the country as I speak. And it shouldn't be. Here's your proof. Here's your proof that we're not crazy. All of you out here calling us crazy for saying dogs should not be allowed in hospitals. The judge agrees. Yeah, they were in need of protection. The court found that Hurley based its decision on actual, not speculative or generalized risks. Second, Hurley complied with its obligations to engage in the ADA's inter. Okay. Yes. Yes, yes. Now look at this. Oh yeah. Judge overrules intern's service dog lawsuit against the hospital. Yes. Yes. The dog is not allowed. Oh, you want to file a lawsuit? Denied. Rejected. overturned, get out. Get out of my courtroom, and do not bring that mutt into any hospital for the rest of your life, or any other mutt that you might acquire. In fact, let's contact these therapy dog organizations and instruct them not to go into another hospital ever again. And there needs to be apologies made to the patients, the families of patients who died, who may have died prematurely because the air that they breathed was contaminated, which further weakened their already weakened immune system and may have sent them to an early grave. You're playing with fire, bringing these mutts into hospitals. The fact that they bring these things into hospitals is such a show of arrogance and disrespect. And it shows you that they feel like they have the green light to do whatever they want and bring the dog wherever they want. Get out of here. Okay? So this put a smile on my face. And this is some of the good news that I wanted to share with you all. And I want to put some more emphasis on rejecting dogs, rejecting service dogs. I want to enjoy this moment and appreciate every business that has ever kicked
It's not right to fake your...
kicked a service dog out. I love it. Oh, you have a disability? You want to bring a service mutt? No. Don't come into our establishment. Ma'am, sir, get out. Get that nasty mutt out of our business. I love it. So after hearing about this case, where a student, a dog nutter, was rejected, I felt good. And I started to take in and absorb and appreciate other cases where these service mutts were denied. Service dog denied by Legacy Hospital staff. Where you at? This needs to be a trend in hospitals. The nerve of these people flaunting the fact that they bring these things into hospitals. It's shameful.
It's not right to fake your service dog, first of all, but it's not right to discriminate against a real service dog either.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. We don't want to hear nothing about you in the hospital. You'll have all the help you need. These people are paid to help you. There ain't no reason to bring no dog into no hospital. Trying to say, oh, the dog will help people relax. You in a hospital. Give them a pill. Bring no filthy, nasty, disease-ridden, contaminating, toxic mutt into a hospital, you idiot. All right, let's enjoy this.
This mom was barred from seeing her daughter in her hospital room. You know, there's so much confusion about where service dogs are allowed and what qualifies as a service animal. So we're getting answers after the mom was caught in that confusion when her real service dog was denied at a local hospital.
The mom in me is really mad.
Several weeks ago, Justina Higgins went to Legacy's Randall Children's Hospital to be with her 15-year-old daughter.
The security guard looks at me and she looks at the dog and she goes, you can't have your pet in here. And I said, she's not a pet, she's a service dog.
Government documents show Justina is critically allergic to latex, and she's considered disabled by the Social Security Administration.
In 2004, I had an anaphylactic reaction at work to balloons.
Oh, listen to this. Listen to this elaborate con. I'm allergic to latex. There's latex in the hospital. Where's she going with this? Let's continue.
I was a nurse on the OB floor at St. Vincent's, and I ended up in the ICU for 4 days. And then it's just gotten worse.
The allergy ended her nursing career. Now she takes her service dog everywhere to alert her to latex. At the Children's Hospital...
Oh, man. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what it was.
The allergy ended her nursing career. Now she takes her service dog everywhere to alert her to latex. At the Children's Hospital...
The dog's job is to alert her to latex. Of course it is.
She explained her way past the security guard, but ran into more resistance on her daughter's floor.
And he said, we can't have the dog on the unit. So if you want to see your child, you'll comply with our rules. And I'm like, well, what are your rules? Because the policy that you're telling me doesn't agree with the American with Disabilities Act.
Over 10 days and 2 legs.
See, they always try to take advantage of these laws. These laws have to go. They have to be changed or they have to be dropped. Okay, this has to stop. And once again, a children's hospital, you want to bring a dog in? Oh my goodness.
Legacy hospitals. Justina says she was allowed to see her daughter in a conference room for a limited amount of time, which seems to violate the hospital's own policies and federal law. The hospital's policy says service dogs are never permitted in operating rooms, recovery rooms, and procedure rooms. But the policy doesn't say service dogs are forbidden from patient rooms. The government's website says it would be inappropriate to exclude a service animal from patient rooms. So we went to Legacy to ask why Justina was treated the way she was. And an unexpected thing happened.
This was a case of an individual coming to one of our facilities with a service animal and ran into a number of our employees who weren't aware of the specifics of our policy and didn't follow our policy.
So you're admitting you folks didn't handle this right?
Essentially, our policy is very clear about service animals.
Legacy is retraining its staff. But the service dog issue is one causing confusion in so many places.
There's a lot of misunderstanding and feeling amongst some that the law is exploited or there's cheaters out there.
Bob June-Deaf.
Of course there is. I mean, that's pretty much all you have. The vast majority of these people with service dogs, they don't need that dog. It's not having no real tangible, it's not assisting them in any way. They could get rid of it and they'd be just fine. These are just people who want to haul a dog around with them everywhere they go. They become that attached to it, and that's pathetic. They're the ones who need to be in the hospital, but a mental hospital. But it's all about people's health. You don't bring one of the most contaminant creatures on the earth into no hospital. Dogs are considerably more filthy and nasty than other natural animals. Keep in mind, these other natural animals don't drink their urine or urine, period, and don't eat excrement and vomit like dogs do.
With Disability Rights Oregon says it would likely be too expensive to create an official licensing agency for service dogs.
Stop. Other natural animals of the earth, their urine is nowhere near as toxic as the urine of dogs. The proof is in the fact that only dogs' urine kills plant life. You bring a dog into a hospital, those patients are now inhaling the dog's urine because the dander is in the air and the urine is on the dander, as well as its excrement. What type of hospital allows this? Every hospital in this country needs to reject service dogs. Don't tell me there's no alternative. I don't care what type of problem you have, there is at least a person who can help you where you don't have to bring no dog in no hospital. This is ridiculous. So reject it. Reject it. Reject it.
Hi. 2. Yes. There is no license for a service dog. Yes, it's a service dog.
You have license or no license?
There is no license for service dog registry.
No license for service dogs? Now, is that true? Huh? You always have to look into, these things. Did they say? No license requirement for service dogs? Is that true? Yeah. I have to look this up. Required to be certified or go through a professional training. Required to service dogs. Okay. I don't know about that. Anybody who knows about this, let us know, please, if you would, in the chat room. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yes, it's a service dog.
You have license or no license?
There is no license for service dog registry.
Okay. 小雷子，他说的是不是多少？你给多吗？
You see, this is bad. It sounds like a Chinese restaurant. And the thing is, most of those fake vests are made in China. So you trying to con the wrong people up in here. They look at this vest like, no. Like, no. My cousin makes those vests in China now. No, and no license. No license required. And everybody knows you can buy fake vests. The majority of these service dogs that you see out here, they're fake.
You don't have the ID something there for the dog?
There is no identification for a service dog.
Okay, so.
There's no such thing.
Wow. And people notice this is a very hairy dog that probably produces excess dander. Not only that, just leaves up straight up hair everywhere. Dog hair everywhere. This is disgusting. And this is a restaurant. You have these types of people who want to contaminate places that are supposed to always be clean. Wow. Let's finish this.
That's no to be not get the animal inside,
I mean, we've eaten here like 4 other times with him.
Yeah, but they line up a lot of people say.
He's a service dog, so he's allowed.
I know.
He's task trained.
Oh man. These laws gotta go. They never should have been created. Catering to these people with service. You never should have done that. Wow. Look at the mess they created. They're all across the country pulling these stunts. They know that these laws are just loopholes created by other dog lovers that'll allow them to violate everybody else's health.
He is a service dog. There is no such thing as a picture ID. They're all fake.
Or I need like a service store, like the customer bring the service store, right? They usually have like a tag or something.
And they're fake.
They're fake.
Yeah, they are not allowed for the federal law.
Wow, what a troublemaker. What a troublemaker. Why don't you just leave the dog at home? You don't need it. I don't want to hear no, you don't need this thing. This really annoys me. I cannot stand people who love to make a spectacle out of themselves. This is just unnecessary.
That's everything that you need to know on service dogs.
Okay.
You can actually look it up on the ADA website that all the registrations and IDs, they really don't mean anything.
Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Let's skip past all that. I want to see the moment where you walk right back out of that restaurant. There you go. That's what I want to see there.
Usually that's nothing. Yeah, and then I can give you this one too.
Let's say that. Okay, I
Yeah.
understand.
You can have a seat before you go down. That's a little ridiculous, honestly.
Oh, nasty. Nasty. That is disgusting. Okay, now the dog's anus, nasty filth, excrement smeared all over the floor. Do you know about the parasites that infest these things all over the place? These hairy dogs, you got to keep in mind, they tend to get more urine and excrement caught up in their fur. This thing is nasty. This is disgusting. They had no business even bringing this thing into the restaurant. See, these people have adapted. They have adapted to filth and nastiness to the point where they are not even aware of it. And so they, without any consideration in the world, try to force that filth and nastiness onto other people. No, no, no. They have gotten so arrogant with it, and they've become so disgusting, they try to bring them into hospitals and restaurants. Shame on the lawmakers who did this.
You've heard of the emotional support dogs. How about a squirrel?
Squirrels, pigs, and peacocks. Oh my.
I'm not kidding. This woman is wrangling her peacock into the airport.
Airlines are cracking down.
Now, is this person just desperate for attention or not? Taking a selfie. Wow. I mean, I'm speechless. I can't believe, how did this happen? Where's the vest? Don't even have a vest on.
On non-traditional emotional support animals and traditional ones too, like dogs. But there's a big difference between emotional support animals, which qualify with just a doctor's note, and service dogs, which are rigorously trained for up to 2 years. And owners of service dogs are protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA.
Real service animals are trained to do a job for people with real disabilities. But critics say vague rules make it all too easy to pass almost any pet off as an emotional support animal.
But is the publicity surrounding emotional support animals...
Now, they're getting this mixed up. Emotional support dogs are not service dogs. You don't support somebody's emotions. That's not a service. That's like one of those therapy mutts. Service dogs are supposed to be specifically trained for something related to health. As far as I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong or if I make any mistakes here.
Rules make it all too easy to pass almost any pet off as an emotional support animal.
But is the publicity surrounding emotional support animals also causing issues for service dogs? This is Carson and Jack. And while today they're with us, they typically spend their days together, since Jack is Carson's real-life service dog.
What? Please. This is a service dog. This is a problem. And you can tell he hauls this dog around with him everywhere he goes for attention. That's why he up in this restaurant with the thing in his lap, laughing.
And that allows him to accompany Carson to public spaces, like restaurants. Some business owners, however, are, let's say, marking their territory.
A woman claims that El Paso restaurant violated the Americans with Disabilities Act.
A Bartow business booted him and his family over his service dog.
Get out. Get out, nutters. Oh, you want a seat? You want a seat and you want to bring your dog? No. You can have a seat in your car. You got, what, 3 or 4 seats in your vehicle. The only seats you're going to sit on. I love it. This is what we need to see.
Excuse me, sir. Pets aren't allowed in the restaurant.
This is Jack. He's my service dog.
Well, that's great, but if you don't get him out of here, you're not getting any service.
If you saw a man getting
Yeah, nutter. Yeah, nutter. Oh, the world just shattered right before his eye. Oh, really? Oh, you mean I don't have a device that will get me attention? I have to sit in the restaurant by myself? But how will people notice me? They won't notice me without my dog. That's all it's about. Emotionally deprived, crippled people, desperate for attention. That's all this is. Even if a doctor recommended a service dog for me and I had no problem with dogs, I wouldn't be comfortable with the attention. It's just too much attention. Trying to make a spectacle, but worst of all, they're violating the health of other people.
Out of a restaurant.
He needs to be here. He helps with my anxiety.
Simply for
anxiety. Like I said, go pop you a pill. Anxiety is the most pathetic excuse for trying to have a dog or pass it as a service dog. Anxiety. You know how many things they make for anxiety nowadays. At any gas station, you can get CBD, CDC, whatever it is, CBD. Work wonders for anxiety. They even sell hemp, like marijuana. It's like a different strand of marijuana in gas stations. What are you talking about? They got all types of tea. I always recommend tea. Types of herbs. And they work a lot better in dog. You can't really relax if you got a mutt. It's always moving, looking. You got to keep your eye. That increases anxiety. What are you talking about? So this is nothing but a con. These people have been manipulating and conning these dogs into different places, terrorizing people all over the world, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop.
Needs to be here. He helps with my anxiety.
Simply for being with his service dog.
There doesn't look like anything's wrong with you. You're gonna have to leave.
What would you do?
We don't want to know about all that. Okay, this is a long video. I'm not gonna play it all. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh yeah. And this is just a dollar store. Just a dollar store. But look at this nutter. And got rejected. That's beautiful. Let's see. Let's fast forward a little bit here.
Wrong answer, ma'am. The Department of Justice and has the ADA Act, which says that the dog can go anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Department of Justice and has the ADA Act, which says that the dog can go anywhere the handler goes.
This is a service dog. You can't deny a service dog anywhere.
I don't know. If you want, the cops are right out here. We can go talk to them too.
Let me give you a couple cards so you can
see how this should never happen. Your cashier, whoever's in charge of letting people in or denying people access into the store, they should know these laws. You know, don't put yourself in this position where some nutter can waltz in and tell you what the law is and you don't know what it is. You need to know it better than them. Okay? So this is funny. And let's see, did they were allowed to come in there. They were allowed into the store. You mean tell me they didn't even get kicked out? It looked like something happened. I'm not going to watch this whole thing. It's my first time watching this. But it looks like, what is this?
If the person says that their dog is a service dog and it's well behaved and not nasty, dirty, things like that, then they're not rendering any health codes or anything like that, so you can't deny the dog no matter what.
Okay. Well, with the vest on, I would see it would be no problem. But I mean, I would be kind of scared of what if it wasn't, and somebody come in here and said it was a service dog and it bit somebody or something.
We do get things like that, but they
are. These people annoy me so much. These people are so manipulative and just flipping narcissists. That desperate for attention. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's ridiculous.
A North Texas Marine says he was kicked out of a Walgreens because of his service dog. The dog is registered as a service dog. And now that Marine wants to know why he was asked to leave the store. It's a story you'll see only on Fox 4 and Zahed Arab in Mesquite near that Walgreens. Zahed.
We'll see what happened at this Mesquite Walgreens has prompted a company investigation. A Marine says the VA diagnosed him with PTSD and then signed off on a service dog.
Oh, there you go. Oh, my goodness. It's always the same thing. Oh, I'm traumatized. Oh, my anxiety. Get out of here, man. Oh, I'm scratching myself. Oh, this is so pathetic. I can't believe they've gotten this far with this.
Dog as a form of treatment. But when he tried taking that dog inside this Walgreens yesterday, he says he was denied. For Chris Goodson, joining the Marines,
come here, buddy. Come on.
Was a calling.
We're about a high five.
But after an honor,
man, this is a narcissist. This dude is a narc. That's why you get kicked out.
Well,
and what's wrong with him? PTSD. Stop.
Charged last June, the corporal was diagnosed with PTSD.
Good boy.
His German Shepherd, Ben, answered, becoming his service dog.
He's always there, so I'm never just alone with my thoughts.
Chris says the pup is therapeutic, helping deal with depression and nightmares from his service in Afghanistan. But on Thursday afternoon at this Mesquite Walgreens, something happened. Even Ben.
Wait, what? Let's back this up. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Sorry, people. My boss calling me. Give me 1 second here, people. Sorry about that. I'm always on call. This guy. Okay. So now he didn't answer. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. I had to back this up.
Just alone with my thoughts.
Chris says the pup is therapeutic, helping deal with depression and nightmares from his service in Afghanistan.
Depression and nightmares. So you're not having a nightmare in Walgreens. You can't go a few minutes without a dog? Is that what you're trying to say? Depression and nightmares, so you need to bring it into Walgreens. That don't make sense. That don't make sense to me.
But on Thursday afternoon at this Mesquite Walgreens, something happened. Even Ben couldn't make better.
Hey, what's unnecessary?
Yeah. You all right? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, check it should be in the Dexter folder. It should be. Right, got 2 different part numbers on it? Yep, that's it. Yep. Just 2 part numbers. Yep. Yep. Sorry about that. I apologize. I'm so sorry. That has never happened. I've never taken a call live like that. I have to apologize for that. I'm sorry about that. But as you all know, I'm always on call. I'm always on call, which is nerve-wracking. But anyways, this is too much, people.
Thursday afternoon at this Mesquite Walgreens, something happened. Even Ben couldn't make better.
Hey, what's unnecessary is you brought me out in front of the store. I'm a f***ing disabled veteran. I have the right to have this dog in here.
With his registered service dog by his side, Chris went in for a Gatorade and says he was confronted by a manager immediately.
He could have walked up and discreetly asked me, is it a service dog?
But he didn't. Instead, Chris says the manager asked them to leave. Ben wasn't wearing a service vest because
Listen. Don't hide behind your service just because, you want to bring a dog into a public place where an establishment does not want dogs. And this is a large dog, a German Shepherd, husky looking dog that could potentially attack someone's child. There's kids all through these department stores. No. I cannot accept that. And he does not sound. And what? You gonna walk through Walgreens and have a nightmare? You gonna fall into depression while you're at Walgreens? I don't even think that's likely. Depression is usually something that creeps up on you when you're not doing nothing. When you engaged in something and you have your thoughts, your mind set on something, you don't get depressed. What are you talking about? Wow, the con is over, man. The con is over.
Instead, Chris says the manager asked them to leave. Ben wasn't wearing a service vest because it was too hot. But Chris says he did show the manager his dog's special tag and ID card.
Everything I was telling him, he was just blowing it off.
But it wasn't enough.
Yeah, because he knew. He was blowing it off because he knew. Look, if you're obviously an impaired person, most establishments will allow the dog. If people can see plain as day that you're blind and you have a seeing eye dog, there are very few, if any, establishments that will say you can't come in or anything like that. Unless they really have to.
Chris says the manager confronted him 3 times, then followed him around the store, escalating to the point that his wife started recording cell phone video.
I told you he's a service dog. Why don't you f off, sir? Yes.
Listen to him. He said, why don't you F off? Are you surprised? I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. I mean, you're still obligated to be professional. If you're trying to take this professional position, I'm a disabled veteran. See, that manager knew that it was a con. And he didn't fall for it. Not on his watch. Not going to have no lawsuit against the company on his watch when he has been seen and made aware that there's a dog in the store Okay, he allows that, and then something happens, could cost him his job. These entitled people, these laws have to go. These disability, and the idea of anxiety qualifying as a disability, what is that all about? These people bring in dogs with a vest on and claim to have anxiety. Well, get over it. Even anxiety, it's unlikely you're going to develop anxiety when you're shopping. Anxiety, that's something that usually comes about when you're in some type of new, strange environment. Man, this is just a con, a way for people to manipulate the laws. And they take advantage of laws that are designed for disabled people. This is what Animal Uncontrol and I think War on Dogs, Ban All Dogs, and Chef were talking about. And I think Dump Dogs were talking about. Like they made a lot of content dealing with this and getting in really a lot deeper than I have. That's the ultimate show of immorality right there. You taking advantage of laws that are meant for disabled people? Come on, man. And we all know that that's what they're doing. So something needs to be done. There's no excuse now.
I did use a little bit of profanity with him, but he had me that mad and that hostile that he showed that much disregard for my personal feelings. It doesn't have to be...
What? He said disregard for my personal feelings. He is clearly not mindful of how inconsiderate he was. And that's how it always happens. Personal feelings. Dude, this is business. It's about business. Talking about personal, this is what it's always about with these people. And they want you to submit to them. They want to have their way and violate people, want to force their dog onto everybody.
But he had me that mad and that hostile that he showed that much disregard for my personal feelings.
There doesn't have to be any sort of vest or any sort of markings on the service animal to say that it's a service animal to be in compliance with the ADA.
Attorney Pete Schulte advises businesses to ask only 2 questions to people who bring in animals. Is it a service animal, and what is it trained to do?
We tell a lot of businesses, don't even ask. If they say it's a service animal, as long as it's being obedient and it's not out of control.
Are you happy? What's the consequences of it going out of control? That is so stupid. As long as it's well behaved, all dogs are well behaved until they flip. So you don't allow them in there. So that way you know they won't flip. You see, these laws have to go. They have to go. These people, they salivate when they learn about these laws because they know that these laws were made to enable them to bring these dogs into everywhere.
Are you happy? It's not a big deal to Ben, but Chris says it's important to call attention to what happened.
What's it? This is not even pleasing. Is this what's it's all about? Is this what makes dogs so great? That you get to rub on them the way this guy is doing? Is this the pleasurable moment that we should risk our life for? You can rub over this thing? Get out of here. This is the reward? This all you get? Some semi-zoophile vibe? I'm good. Those are the vibes I'm getting.
And it's not out of control.
Are you happy? Are you happy? It's not a big deal to Ben, but Chris says it's important to call attention to what happened.
Anybody, not just veterans, anybody with a service dog, anybody with a disability.
Yeah, and it's weird to just be rubbing on a goofy dog all the time. It's weird, man. It ain't fun, ain't nothing pleasant about it. It's goofy and strange. I'm good.
You shouldn't treat them like that.
Wait, what? What do you say?
Happy. Are you happy?
It's not a big deal to Ben, but Chris says it's important to call attention to what happened.
Anybody, not just veterans, anybody with a service dog, anybody with a disability, you shouldn't treat them like that.
You don't have no disability. Nutter. This is just a nutter. He claims this dog is to help him with depression and nightmares. Well, you know he's not having a nightmare in Walgreens. And I don't believe he suffers no depression walking through department stores. Manager caught on to your con and rejected your dog. Good for the manager. Hats off to him. Huh? He did the right thing.
New this afternoon, a North Houston woman is under investigation for animal cruelty after someone sent a video to the Houston SPCA.
We must warn you, you may find this video very upsetting.
Lauren Tellerico joining us live from the SPCA with the details.
Hey, Lauren, how is that dog doing?
Yeah, well, the video is upsetting. So before I go any further, that dog is doing just fine and is being cared for right here. But the SPCA's...
I could have told you that. The dog is fine. What is this, man? So I'm not even going to show her punching and kicking this mutt. But that's what she did. And then she picked it up by the collar and walked away. This creature is said to reduce stress and anxiety. They say that they've proven that they reduce stress and anxiety. But yet, the articles, the news, they're riddled with stories like this, where dog owners flip out, punch, kick, or whatever to their own dog. Now, cases like this is when they reach their breaking point. Just because other dog lovers haven't reached this point does not mean that they are not experiencing stress and anxiety from their dog. Oh, yes, they are. They're just managing it better than these people. If you have so many cases like this where people flip out, start beating on their dog, that's an accumulation type of thing. You see? So I'm not seeing the proof, I'm not seeing the evidence that these creatures reduce stress and anxiety or relieves anxiety, or what else is it? Stress and depression. Depression. You know, sitting at home by yourself, I would think if you deal with depression, it would be in those moments. You don't have time to be depressed when you're doing something, especially when you're doing something that you know that you need to be doing. When you're doing that, you don't get depressed. I believe depression mainly comes from people not doing something that they know they're supposed to be doing. So, yeah, I don't buy the stress relieving effects that are said to be provided by dogs. And I'm happy that these things are being rejected in some areas of the earth. That makes me very happy, especially when these cases take place here in the United States. Rejected. You want to bring a dog in? No. You brought a dog in, get out. This needs to become more and more popular. These people are taking advantage of these laws, manipulating laws meant for disabled people. Worst of all, they're literally on the spot in real time contaminating the air. Means if you're in a restaurant, people's food is now contaminated. They now have, and this is fact, they now have traces of dog excrement and urine in their food and saliva. And we know how toxic dog saliva is, dog urine is, dog excrement. That needs to be taken into consideration. How toxic their saliva, urine, and excrement is compared to other animals. That should make it more difficult for you to bring dogs into places like hospitals, restaurants, and grocery stores. And it's irresponsible that it's not taken into consideration. There's no way around that. Look at how many ways you can look at and come at this dog culture and obliterate it. It's like they don't have a case in any way at all. You know, and eventually people are going to want to rectify this problem. It's only a matter of time. I got confidence. I have confidence in the overall intelligence of people, especially when there's a small group of people who's saying the right things, what needs to be said. People, the truth is easy to spread around. It's contagious. And everybody knows it. Right. From people channel only. Oh yeah. Yeah, so my love dog, but we lost the plot. Okay, right. Yeah, and you know what's funny? A lot of these people involved in you know, the process of rejecting dogs and whatnot, a lot of these people are dog lovers. But they know that it's a serious violation to bring these things into certain places. Everybody knows it. It's irresponsible to turn a blind eye to a dog coming into a hospital, a restaurant, a grocery store. You can't allow the next generation to see you doing stuff like that. I told you, it just makes the subsequent generation dumb. Don't pass down stupidity and dumbness, brainlessness. Okay, don't pass that on to the next generation. We want to pass this down, right? Anti-dog narratives. And that is what's being passed down. Our message ain't going nowhere. And whoever wrote this, did I share this? Whoever wrote this sounds upset about this case. And I'm loving it. I think I shared it. If not, I'm going to share it again. Oh, yeah, I pinned it. Yeah, I pinned it at the top of the chat room. Man, each hour that goes by when I'm live feels like 30 minutes. Already, we're at an hour and 14 minutes. And that concludes today's live stream. I will be back a lot sooner than later. I see you, mutants. Mutants out in the house. King in the house. Death Ranger. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. And I hope to see you all back on the next as we continue with this crusade.